In today's video, we are going to be breaking down XAU USD, looking at the gold market to see where we could potentially be headed next. We are at a very interesting point, and I think that we definitely need to discuss where gold may be headed and why, some things to look for, and some potential movements that we could see. So stay tuned. Let's dive into it. Hey traders, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Nick. I share all sorts of trading and investing content here on YouTube for free. I ask though that if my content is helpful to you, do me a big favor, hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're going to be taking a look at gold here. The symbol is XAU USD. This is gold against the US dollar, which has been rising very steadily for some time now. Now, there are some big things that I've been receiving a lot of questions about on gold specifically that I want to talk about today. Now, what you can see is that we've actually seen some crazy volatility lately due to everything that's in the news right now, right? We've got stuff where basically we saw the market rising like crazy, and then all of a sudden we tumbled way down, and now we are right back to where we were here at the recent high. The big question, of course, is where do we go from here? Are we going to see price break through and continue this bullish rise, or are we going to pull back? Now, there are some things that we can look at. Of course, I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the market. I'm not telling you what you should do with your own money. Please make your own trading decisions. I'm not here to give you, pointers on exactly what you should do. I'm just sharing my own analysis. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some clues that the market has given us, some ideas that the market has planted, and some potential biases, whether we go bullish or bearish, what could happen. So let's jump into it. So what we're taking a look at here is, again, the daily chart for gold. Now I've got a 200 period moving average. We could also put a 50 period moving average, and you can see that the overall trend, we are healthily holding a healthy trend here where basically the 50 period is in fact above the 200 period moving average, and overall we are trending nicely to the upside. Now we've had a few pullbacks, and we've really seen our first major pullback recently with all of this volatility, when basically we dropped from right around 1700 all the way down to 1450 in just a matter of a week span. So we saw a lot of craziness there, but as I mentioned, we brought back all of those gains, and now we are right back towards the highs. Now, this is something that on our live streams I've been saying is a pretty good chance due to the fact that we do have this upward trend that we just mentioned, right? A very healthy uptrend usually leads to higher highs and higher lows. So we did in fact see that price made a low here. We did in fact technically make a higher low there, right? If you get very technical, you can see we barely made a higher low here on that pullback. And now you can see, as I mentioned, we are back at the highs. So what we've got here is we do have a still strong uptrend. Okay, as I mentioned, we have a couple different indicators. Number one, we did retest underneath the 200 period, or we broke underneath the 200 period briefly before price very bullishly pushed back up. That showed a lot of strength to buyers who basically were able to sweep up the price and continue the bullish rally overall. Now, on the contrary, we have seen for the first time our big pullback here. So this is the first time that we've seen gold really show an impressive sell-off in quite some time, right? We had some minor sells back here, but this is the first time that we really saw some crazy sell strength come into the market. So I do want to take that into account when I say that, okay, yes, we are in a strong uptrend. Yes, overall, we are making higher lows and higher highs. Yes, we are still showing strength with the 50 period holding above the 200 period. And we are back at previous resistance. So I would say that it's not out of the question that we do see some more sell pressure, or maybe even enter into a consolidation phase or a back and forth market environment for some period of time. Now, again, we are still in a context of a long-term uptrend, so my bias remains. I think we're probably going to see bullishness continue there on gold. In fact, I would say that it's possible that we even head to $1,800 on the price here, maybe in the next few months. It could even be quicker than that, noting how crazy gold has been. Technically, we went from this price here all the way to here, so that is going from 1446 all the way up to 1700 very quickly, right? We've seen some really crazy gains for gold lately, and I think that it's very possible that we do head to something like the 1800 mark, but it may take a minute. We may take a little bit of time to consolidate after all of the previous news and volatility and craziness. Now, it is going to come down heavily on whether or not we get some more news that hits the headlines that causes crazy volatility. We saw a lot of bullishness leading up to this, and then when things actually went crazy, we saw gold sell off very heavily in the midst of all the recession talk that we were hearing. As I mentioned, we are back to the highs, and from a technical perspective, it's possible that we could make a run to the 1800 if we get the breakout. Okay, if we see the breakout and we see a move above that 1700 level strongly, the retest may come in, and there might actually be an opportunity to look for an extended move up to 1800 and beyond, right? That would be what would convince me that, okay, hey, you know, if we see that break above, I think we have a pretty good chance of making a push to the $1,800 mark. I think that's very, very in the realm of possibility with all of the crazy volatility that we are seeing. Now, we see right now that on the daily chart, we are seeing a very strong bullish candle here that is printing and looks like it may want to try and close above. That is going to be very, very interesting to watch the end of today's candle. If we close bullish, my idea is that we probably would see, something like that. We'd probably see the continuation, the breakout above this recent high. Okay, so that's my opinion there. If we do not see strong closing above today, if we see something like, a move that looks like this and we have a wick on top, then we may actually, as I mentioned, be entering into a consolidation phase where essentially we may oscillate across back and forth on some of these previous levels that we've tested. For example, if price were to come back down, we could see price oscillate something like that, or we could even see an oscillation between this bigger consolidation phase. I think with all the volatility, a lot of times when you get very, very high spikes of volatility and big trends, they're followed by periods of consolidations at some point, and we see price kind of relax before entering a new trend. Okay, so on the contrary, though, I want to talk also about the bearish case, because I know there's a lot of people who are like, well, what would be the case to sell gold? And my opinion here would be breaking that 200 period more convincingly. So if you remember, we talked about, okay, price came back underneath very briefly, but it did not show a lot of strength before rallying back bullish. We never saw a seriously strong close beneath the 200 period moving average. So if we were to see something like price drop, right, and then we ultimately see a break underneath, right, that is where things may get interesting, and my bias may switch from that bullish bias where I'm looking for pullbacks and uptrend continuations to a potentially bearish agenda, meaning that, okay, well, if we had the break below, a retest of some sort could lead to some nice selling where maybe even this blue moving average, the 50 period, may even cross underneath, and that would really be the indicator to me that, okay, now we are entering a potential strong sell trend. But until that happens, my bias on gold is that it's probably still going up. And the reason I say that, and that's just my opinion, again, I'm not telling you what you should do, but my opinion is we are probably still heading up because gold is one of those things that trends very, very strongly. Let's go back here to a historical scenario back in 2009 when we got a bullish cross, right? And saw that thing continue to run all the way through into 2012. That's a multiple year trend, and we finally started to see some pullback after multiple years, right? So a lot of times people say on gold that it's too high or that it has to come down, and have gotten in trouble trying to short the highs, trying to catch the top of the move or catch the bottom of the move when the market just wants to keep trending. It's natural for this heavy train to keep pushing in the same direction as it already has been going. So I've mentioned that my bullish thesis would be, okay, there's possibly two scenarios that I would be interested in. If we break out above and we show signs of continuation, then I may be interested in looking for a pullback there. On the contrary, if we enter into a consolidation zone, right, there may be some areas where you could buy and sell. You could think about doing that if that's something that you like to do, if you like to trade ranging markets. If we enter into a consolidation phase, there may be some buys and sells that you could do short term, right, back and forth. So those are the two scenarios that I think are most likely to happen on gold here in April. So we'll see if that can play out. Guys, let me know, what are your thoughts on gold? Share a comment down below with the rest of the gang here, and let me know what you think about XAU USD. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you back next time.